What's up, guys? Welcome back to Tea and Lit. Is my lighting kind of funky? How's that? Better? Welcome back to Tea and Lit. Today is going to be an herbal medicine video. So we've done a couple of tea videos talking about how to make a cup of herbal tea correctly, and my lunar cycle tea, aka my menstrual tea. Today I want to talk to you guys about some of my other favorite herbs and spices and home remedies for typical ailments that we have in this household, so that you can explore them to see if they'll work for you. So we have, you know, all of the common ailments: colds, flus, sore throats. I get loads of sinus infections, anxiety, lack of sleep, all sorts of things like that. So I just wanted to come on here and share with you a few of the things. Now, I first got into herbal medicine using like aromatherapy and essential oils. So a lot of these things are oils, but I am also very much in favor of them via teas and other ways. And we'll talk more about like how I use the oils depending on which thing it is, okay? So let's talk about it. First herb on my list is my favorite one of all time, and that is lavender. My bottle's kind of gross. But lavender essential oils. Oh, that's got a wicked glare on it, doesn't it? Lavender essential oil. I love this stuff. It's an anti-anxiety, and it also helps me sleep. I'm somebody who has what I call a very busy brain, meaning I'm a mile a minute even while I'm in bed. And so what I do to help me sleep is I keep a notebook and a pen by my bed so that I can, you know, write my list out for what I'm going to do the next day, or what, you know, crazy video ideas I want to do in the future. And I also keep a bottle of lavender essential oils next to my bed, and I will just put one little drop on my pillow, generally near where my head is, just on the pillow, and I will typically fall asleep very quickly with my lavender oil. And it just takes one drop. You don't need a whole bunch. The second thing here is my peppermint. Somewhere. Peppermint! I actually don't use peppermint oil that much anymore for what I'm about to say. I still use peppermint oil in my hair. I love using peppermint oil in my hair. It gives you like that nice stimulated scalp, but we'll talk about that with another herb that I do use more frequently. But I love peppermint like candy, and you can get peppermint extract, which is just made with vodka, basically, and peppermint leaves, and making peppermint candy or buying peppermint candy. And I use peppermint candy because I get motion sickness, particularly when my mom is driving, not gonna lie, but I get motion sickness, and peppermint, the peppermint herb is really, really helpful. I also, like a couple of weeks ago, I just randomly got this horrible, horrible stomach ache. It was some kind of indigestion, I'm sure of it. And I just drank a cup of tea and laid down, a cup of peppermint tea and laid down, and felt better when I woke up the next morning. So if I have any sort of stomach distress, I go for my peppermint. The next herb on my list is a favorite of mine, and that is oregano oil. So I think I've mentioned in a previous video, I get sinus infections a lot. I truly, honestly believe that there's something wrong structurally in my nose. I had tons of allergies as a kid. I was allergic to everything, and I used to blow my nose very, very aggressively, to the point that the doctor, every time I went in, would say, "You're blowing your nose wrong." And I think that that damaged something in my nose. And now, whenever my allergies are bad, or whenever I get a cold, right afterwards I get a sinus infection. And I have found that going on an oregano oil tincture regimen, I can kick a sinus infection super fast. And all of those years I spent taking penicillin and amoxicillin and all of those antibiotics, 3 days on an oregano tincture, and it has an even better effect for me than the other like pharmaceuticals. This is also a good time to say, I am telling you what works for me. I am telling you what works for my family, and I'm comfortable experimenting on us with the things that we're talking about here. Again, I said this in the last video, these are all generally safe herbs as long as you don't have any previous conditions or are on any sort of medication that it could have an adverse reaction to. So this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. There's no such thing as a certified herbalist in the United States, but I'm also not a certified herbalist. I am somebody who's curious about this topic and is happy to experiment on myself and my family. So I'm just telling you what my personal experience is, what works in our household. I am not giving you any recommendations on what works for you or your household. So take that into consideration. Do not listen to some crazy lady on YouTube who just owns a bunch of books and has done all of these things, because the truth is, your health is very, very important, and you should only experiment on it if you feel comfortable doing so. So, I'm sharing what works for us. I'm not sharing what's working for you. Okay? My next herb is eucalyptus oil. So, I have asthma, and I'm quite confident my father has asthma, and I love using this as a steam. So basically, I just boil the kettle, pour it into a bowl, and then put a few drops, like 3 drops of eucalyptus oil into the bowl, and then put a towel over our head and do a steam for 5 minutes. It cleanses the pores, and you get the steamed eucalyptus oil. Now, peppermint, eucalyptus, and tea tree, which I'll be talking about in just a minute, all have this compound called menthol. They're mentholated, which is kind of that cooling feeling that you get that sometimes makes your eyes water when you like eat a peppermint or smell a tea tree or smell eucalyptus. And what that's doing for us with asthma, for those of us who are willing to experiment, is that it's going into our bronchioli and loosening up some congestion. And so that's really helpful and kind of opening up those bronchioli. So I've had asthma my whole life, and it's not something that is like quite so crippling as it was when I was a kid. Part of that is because I've grown out of it. Part of that is because I know what triggers me. Part of that is because I found other ways to deal with it. But I definitely was somebody who has distinct memories of waking up in the middle of the night for my asthma treatment. And the eucalyptus oil has certainly helped. Now, the other one is tea tree. I am a huge fan of tea tree oil, and I put this in my hair. Sometimes I get dandruff, particularly when I'm like working out a lot. Obviously, that has not been the case during COVID, but I will put tea tree oil mixed in my shampoo or mixed in my pre-wash treatment and do a scalp rub with it, and it just breaks up whatever extra oils are hanging out on my scalp, and it loosens up those hair follicles, opens them up so that they can keep growing, and really is a good cleanser for my scalp. So I'm a huge fan of tea tree oil for external use. Now, one of the things that you may have noticed is that I'm using these herbs for external use primarily, and that is because you have to be very, 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 very cautious about taking oils internally. In fact, it's highly discouraged to do so from most companies. You will hear about some of the like direct sale companies, like MLMs, who say that you can take them internally, which is fine for their marketing. I'm not going to, discount their opinion on that. But it's not encouraged that you do so. The only one, so like my oregano oil is a tincture. It's not actually oregano oil, it's a tincture. Essential oils are extracted from the plant using various processes, including but not limited to steam distillation, which is really like the safest one if you're going to be taking them internally. However, these are highly, highly, highly concentrated compounds. So in your one bottle, in your one vial, there's like your lemon oil. If I have a lemon, let me go, 1 second. Let me go get my lemon oil vial. I wanted to get this one specifically because it's smaller. So this lemon oil vial that is 10 milliliters probably has more than a dozen lemons in it. So what is a good food for you to eat and a great medicine for you to take when you're not feeling well is so concentrated in this teeny little thing that your body is not accustomed to processing that much medicine at once. And so it becomes very dangerous when you're taking oils internally. So it's highly, highly, highly discouraged to do so. Again, I've heard of companies saying you can. that's their business. From everything that I've read, it's that it's not encouraged to do so. So I will leave that as it is. Okay, so if you're taking oils internally, do so at your own risk. The next one I love is rosemary, and this is another one that I put in my hair. I feel like it makes my hair kind of shiny and moisturized. I like putting it on my ends when I remember to do so, to be totally honest with you. I am somebody who has always suffered from split ends. But yeah, rosemary oil, and it also makes your hair smell really, really, really nice. The next one I want to talk about is, this is my tea mix, but raspberry leaf. You guys know I'm a huge fan of raspberry leaf. If you saw my menstrual tea video, it is a uterine strengthener. I've always struggled with my cycles, and so I am a huge fan of raspberry leaf. Use that basically every month. Another one that I like, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's do 2 more. I have a list here. We did lavender. Oh, one of those is the lemon though. Okay, so number 6, that's the list order, is garlic. Now I know this is gonna be super weird, but again, I get sick really, really easily. And this is so gross and so weird, but it works. It works for me. I will actually chop garlic very finely and mix it in applesauce and eat it, and basically swallow the garlic like pills. And garlic kind of pushes all of the toxins out of you. Whatever is swirling around inside of your system, whatever diseases and infections are in there, garlic is going to help push it out of the system. And so I will basically try to eat enough garlic that I start to sweat garlic, and it is at that point that, you know, my fever will break and that I'll be feeling better. I do actually find that garlic is a great immune booster. It is quite gross to do it, particularly the way I do it, but it can be really good for you. If you don't want to, you know, be quite as adventurous as I am, you can also make something like a garlic chicken or a garlic lemon chicken and get, you know, many of the same benefits that way, if that's something that you want to do. But I keep things really simple, especially when I'm sick. I will literally just chop up garlic and stick it in applesauce, swallow it like pills, drink plenty of water, lay down, and feel better 2 hours later. The next one that I want to talk about is cayenne. So this is another one like the garlic that when I'm sick, if I've got a fever or I've got a cold or the flu, you get that cayenne in your system. It's going to elevate your body temperature, wrap yourself in a fuzzy blanket, put some fuzzy socks on, get yourself a nice cozy sweater, and sweat it out. Sweat it all out of you. And cayenne has helped me break a fever or 2 without a doubt. So I am a huge fan of cayenne pepper if you can tolerate it. Now for this, what I'll do is I'll just make myself a regular can of soup and mix in as much cayenne as I can handle, and drink that soup really, really quickly, and then drink some ice water right after. And then again, snuggle up, lay down for 2 hours, and see how you're feeling. The last one I want to talk about is honey. Honey is my go-to for literally everything. As soon as I start to not feel well, I will literally take a spoonful of honey, like I'm Mary Poppins. I'm not even kidding. To the point that everybody in the household thinks I'm completely insane, because I'll be like, I don't feel good, I'm taking my medicine, an entire tablespoon of honey. But honey has so many amazing, raw honey has so many amazing health benefits to you. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, it boosts your immune system. I think it's anti-inflammatory. Honey is just like one of the great superfoods that we have available to us. And getting ethically sourced raw honey, locally produced, is really, really awesome. And it's so, so, so good for you. Between the garlic, the oregano oil, and the honey, I'm able to kick basically everything within a day if I catch it fast enough, 3 days if I've been a delinquent, basically. So it's entirely possible for me and my family to kick a lot of our health issues using herbal medicine. Now, I will say that many of these also have teas that you can use if that's how you choose to use them, but that's again up to you. I got into oils first, and I drink teas casually typically, and over the past 1.5 years or so I've been working to transition more into teas as medicine, but I've been working with herbs as medicine for I don't know how long, 10 years, I don't know how long. And I'm a huge fan of finding natural remedies for things. So these are just a few of the things that we deal with. Things like sinus infections, things like colds and flus, things like upset tummies and asthma and lack of sleep and anxiety. These are the things that we use to help us. I also want to say that this is not something that you can use to kick the worldwide bug that's going around right now. Don't think that these are going to solve that problem. If you need to go to the hospital, you need to go to the hospital. So I do want to say that I am somebody who feels like you should be able to kick most things on your own, but there are great many things that you can't kick on your own. I have a few kind of like health rules. If I can't break a fever in 3 days, it's time to go to the doctor. If I can't keep food down for 3 days, it's time to go to the doctor. If my fever hits north of 103, it's time to go to the, if it hits 103, it's time to go to the doctor, because there's no sense in dying if you don't have to. So, and sometimes it's good to just get a diagnosis. Like, there was the last time that I got proper sick, proper sick, that I couldn't kick it and I had to go to the doctor. I couldn't keep food down for 4 days. And I'd gone to the doctor and she had said, you know, you've got this bug that's going around. We know exactly what it is, but it'll pass through your system in another few days. Do you want medicine for it? No, I don't want medicine for it. I came home and I drank my teas and I took my rest. I drank my water, and I let that be that. So it's one of those things where, like, even if you aren't necessarily going to get the medication from the doctor, at least you have a diagnosis and you know what's going on. You know, if you've got a sore throat, is it bronchitis? Bronchitis is in the lungs. Is it tonsillitis? Is it something else? And how do you need to solve that problem is really helpful, instead of just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall trying to solve it. So at least getting a diagnosis is helpful, and then making the best choice for you on what sort of medical interventions you want moving forward. So I have guidelines for when I will take medication. I can tell you that I can't remember the last time I took medication. Now, part of that is because I'm relatively young. I'm relatively healthy. But also because it's a priority that I have, that I don't want to be taking medication. And so whenever I can avoid medication, I will. That does not mean that I will avoid medication at all costs. That means that I will avoid medication when I can. So be mindful of that. I said before that I think I took more medicine as a kid than was entirely necessary. That doesn't mean I didn't need some of that medicine that I took as a kid. There were definitely a lot of things. I needed Benadryl and an EpiPen when I was a kid. If I were in anaphylaxis, I wouldn't even play with herbs. I would definitely go straight for some serious hard pharmaceuticals, because that's something that's kind of an immediate thing. So be mindful of those things. Herbs are designed to work a little bit slower than our pharmaceuticals. By that I mean our pharmaceuticals are designed to work extra quickly. And herbs, in conjunction with a healthy diet, loads of water, sunshine, and the all-important rest, can help you kick a lot of conditions. And that's kind of my philosophy. The doctor is there for when something is severe, and your regular day-to-day bumps and bruises and regular ailments can be dealt with from your apothecary closet, not necessarily from your pharmacy. But when things are severe, like, I don't know, the worldwide bug, I would consider that severe. It's a good idea to go to the doctor, just to get a diagnosis and to see what they can do to help you, and decide if it makes the most sense for you to be getting medical intervention treatments, and making the best case for you. So those are my top 10 herbs that I use most often. Again, very often in oils, sometimes in teas, sometimes in tinctures. It all depends on kind of what I'm using them for. I shared a lot of what I use externally on my hair, a lot of it, on my skin, and on my pillow. So these are just some of the things that I use, that are used in my household. and I just heard a big thud, so I'll be right back. I will catch you guys next time, and yeah, I'll just catch you next time. Bye.